that you mentioned, they see AI as a technology. It's a fantastic technology, large language models, amazing what is possible. I just, for example, read the press release of Santander Bank. We only have it in Spanish. I put my phone up, I can read it in English. It's not a problem. Most companies like that see AI as a basic technology. Very important one, basic technology. We do AI for business. So we partner, as Scott mentioned in the keynote, we partner with all of them, and we love that they fight. But what we do is we take the best models for every use case. Some are Google, some are Microsoft, some are IBM, some are Aleph Alpha, some are open source ones. We take the best ones for every different use case, because ChatGPT is amazing, but ChatGPT does not do invoice reconciliation. But SAP has 51 years of experience in enterprises and enterprise processes in different industries. We use AI for business in those lines of business and in those industries. And this is a hugely different approach. So therefore, no need for us to play that game. We look at AI from our customer perspective. Yeah. And they want end-to-end business processes to run the smoothest.
And to illustrate that, we've already been building, so the technology teams have used AI already in our business systems for years. We've been doing this for a long time. So the example on stage around financial forecasting, if you use Concur, Expensit, being able to use artificial intelligence in the business process. So we want to be the best at providing value using AI together with a business context to be able to provide value to our customers. That's where we like to differentiate.
And we are amongst the first enterprise companies leveraging that, being it from open AI services via Microsoft Azure, for example. And as Scott explained on stage, in HR, in procurement, in payments, in finance, like everywhere in our business technology platform. And that is how we make a difference. And that is also, if you look, for example, here at Latin America, how we make AI accessible to all companies. Even small and mid-sized companies now have access to AI through SAP solutions.
One more question?
Yeah.
Fernando Paiva from One More Time.
Fernando after Pablo.
No,
Right before.
Luciano and Pablo.
Okay.
Fernando, then Luciano, then
Okay. So my question is the following, is also about AI. I would like to know your opinion about the importance of regulating AI. Should it be international cooperative work, or should each country create your own law? What SAP thinks about it? And thinks about the importance. Do we need a regulation for AI or not, and why?
It's a huge debate in the moment, and basically every day, every week, there are substantial news to it. So now a lot of AI creators actually warn even of the extinction of humanity if we don't regulate. Yeah. So I think, like with all potentially disruptive technologies, we will need and we will have certain regulation. That is very clear. There are proposals out there how to do it, different ones. There will be some regulation. Will it be one for the whole world? I have not seen that in any other area. So also here, I don't think it will happen. So again, it will be, hopefully, it will cover most of the world in a very similar way. That's always what we like, of course. If at least the US, Europe, Latin America, if they find some common ground, that's already a huge part of the world. And if then Asia comes in, APJ, Africa as well, in a similar form, that helps, because the more standardized things are, the better for us. Actually, you asked the position of SAP, so yes, I think there will be some regulation, and also some of that regulation is not too bad for us, because it's not the wild, wild west anymore, but actually, if you like with data protection, I think will be relatively similar, like with personally identifiable information, you need to protect that. And then it's very helpful, because we can help, we know how to help a CIO, a chief digital officer, a chief financial officer, to mitigate the risk and to build AI systems in an ethical and compliant way, which is auditable. And then in the moment it's a little bit of wild west out there with AI, but once these regulations come, actually everyone will ask SAP to do it in a compliant way, which is auditable. They do not need to go to jail, but they can rely on SAP solutions.
And I would add two additional things to what Juergen described. The first is we have a responsibility, and we take that responsibility to also inform and partner with regulators around the standards. The reality is we understand the business context and the use of AI, and so helping, and we do that with not just in artificial intelligence, with sustainability, with all of the other, and we do that proactively. And then the second is how we apply the use of AI within our business solutions is done with responsibility, with ethics, with standards. So in the absence of those, of regulation or lack of consistency, doesn't mean that we as an organisation don't take that responsibility on ourselves, because we understand business decisions get made on an SAP system every single day, thousands of times a day, millions of users using our technology every single day. So we understand the role that it plays and the influence it has in local economies, in local business, and we're doing so in a responsible way, leveraging the technology, but also doing with high ethics and standards.
Thank you. Luciano.
Hi, Luciano Ramos, country manager at C Brazil. So many questions, so little time. Back to the AI thing, and I think this is more for Juergen, but okay, I understand the differences between the approach, SAP business approach for AI. That's fine, that's incredible. But I understand customers will ask you more automation, more integration to leverage these new AI with your AI, your business-oriented AI. So how do you plan to address that? How are you addressing that? And what do you think will be the future landscape for that?
Yeah, we have reference architectures for that already today. So actually we are leverage models, the best ones as I mentioned, for example now OpenAI for Microsoft was a use case. And then what is really important for our customers is how to combine this generic model, which was trained on public data. How do I combine that with my company information without making my company information public? And that is where we have reference models. We already implemented that such that customers have their own data. They can combine it with that public model. For example, you have a customer inquiry. I want to buy this. Can you give me an order? Now with SAP's Business AI, you can easily have the facts from the SAP system. You identify that request. You find out the article number. You find out the price. You find out the pricing conditions. So that all can happen done with the SAP system, leveraging AI capabilities. But then we don't have the best technology in writing a very nice answer to you. So there, we then leverage the OpenAI capabilities without revealing your custom information to OpenAI. So they will not see this. So basically, as SAP, we build a kind of firewall between the public model and your private data. And your private data will never leave to the public. And this is what customers like a lot.
Hi. Salesforce, for example, they will also have a lot of artificial intelligence tools. They call it Einstein. And they just launched Einstein GPT, and this is just the model, not just to use the OpenAI API to just add to the LLM's model of OpenAI with the customer's data. But you have a lot of data, as you mentioned, of all different customers. There will some projects to use all this data to create a LLM's large model for a new, like corporate artificial intelligence, or SAP GPT or something like that?
Yeah, we constantly look at, does it make sense to create own models, or is it just marketing hype? If you really look at it from a technology perspective, in the moment the best for our customers is to use best of both worlds. And I know some of these initiatives very well, and I can proudly say that we don't need to hide, and actually in many, many areas we are far ahead of Salesforce, of ServiceNow, etc. when it comes to really embedding AI into solutions. So therefore, it depends which marketing strategy you want to follow. But we really look at how can we build value for our customers.
And maybe if I can just add one additional, the richness of the SAP data is unparalleled. No other organisation on the planet, no other competitor of ours has the business data that SAP does, that our customers do, that they've relied on. And so they look to us and they want to maintain the integrity of that data. They want the management of that data, the governance of that data. So when we launch DataSphere, and then the connection with companies like Google Cloud, like Databricks, like others who have got AI and they're connecting, we're doing so in a federated way. We're not just shipping the data over, so helping customers manage that data and then build artificial intelligence on that. So they can still do that. But then in addition to everything that Juergen described is we're also building where we're doing it inside the business process. And you think of the thousands of business processes that run on the different business systems of SAP, all of them have an AI opportunity, every single one. So the task for us actually is more prioritization. Okay, how do we leverage these partnerships to be able to give the value back to our customers who are running these business systems and mission critical processes? But we do so in a responsible way, but we're very excited about that opportunity.
And just to add one more thing, building on top of what Scott shared, to be very clear, the data in SAP systems is the customer's data.
Yes.
It's very, very clear. We are custodians of the customer's data. What we did though over the last couple of years with our AI ethics boards, we actually adjusted our contracts in a way that the customer can choose. They can choose to open up and share certain business objects with us and allow us to train models on that. As a result, they of course also get a better trained model. So most customers actually decide to do that. Okay. And that is, as Scott mentioned, a rich treasure of data, which of course with all the anonymization, personal and identifiable information, etc., etc. So all of that we have in place. And when I say in some areas we are years ahead of others, I mean, for example, that. How can you really, in a structured, automated way, such that the client, the customer decides and has the full power in their hands, what is allowed, what is not allowed, that we have all managed down to the execution of models and auditability, etc.
So in that case, you can combine the data of different clients.
Exactly. In that case, let's take an example in finance. So you will have pre-trained models from SAP for financial, let's say, reconciliation. So you have a booking, which ledgers does it go to, how do you reconcile if you have a complex company structure, how does in the end everything work and is reconciliated. And you get a very good model from SAP. But for example, regional differences. Companies will pay differently. In the US, they give you a check sometimes. Yeah. And in other companies, you have electronics. In Latin America, you use Mercado Libre to pay. And so it will be different. And based on these differences, customers allow us to retrain, and then they get an even better model.
Thank you.
I have a question more to Scott than cloud is a strategy, so SAP strategy. When do you believe that all clients to SAP moves to the cloud? Do you think it's possible the on-premise client goes to the cloud or not?
I get asked that question a lot.
She asked that question yesterday.
Yeah. So first of all, it's a privileged position that we're in, that we even debate the topic. I'm always amazed at how many companies that I meet that have been on a journey with SAP, and some 5, 10, 15, 20. I met a customer the other day, 40 years. And the reality is they've relied on that technology to run their enterprise. And so first and foremost, for us, it's just wonderful to have those companies' enduring relationship with us. And here in Brazil and Latin America, we're very proud of that. Secondly, we want the move to be a positive one that really creates value, really creates a journey that is of benefit. The move to the cloud, you can pick up systems and move it to the cloud, and you can do so in infrastructure as a service very easily. But there's no value really generated. And so we're really focused on how do we create value as a part of that journey. So when we launched Rise with SAP, when we launched Grow, when we launched DataSphere, when we launched these capabilities, it's about creating value. So the move to the cloud is one that's logical, not forced. I have been amazed at how quickly companies are pivoting. So when we launched Rise with SAP 2.5 years ago, we expected the move to the cloud, but we never really knew whether it was going to be successful or not. It has been overwhelmingly successful. So S/4HANA Cloud, for example, growing at over 80% today, growing at 80%. In Latin America, Christina, it is incredibly strong. So that gives us confidence that the strategy is right, there's value that's being generated and companies want to move. There will always be those companies that will have challenges in timing and the roadmap and things like that, but we are very confident that companies will move to the cloud because they're really, for them, what's the alternative? They don't want to be running on old systems that are 10, 20, 30, 40 years old to compete in today's market. You need modern technology to run your enterprise. So it's always, we want it to be faster than maybe what some companies are able to, but what we commit to is this. Every company has their own roadmap and we will help them transform to their roadmap because we know the destination is great, but the journey to get there will differ. And the beauty of Rise and Grow with SAP is we give tailored roadmap to be able to, some people move straight to greenfield, others do step-by-step, businesses, locations, geography, and they'll do different journeys, but they always end in the same place, and that's in the cloud.
Hi, I'm Judith Magner. I'm a brand journalist with SAP's channel on Forbes. My question is about future-proofing and SAP's portfolio of sustainability products. So, for example, do these products support, let's say, Brazilian businesses that are doing business, let's say, in the European Union, where there are very strict regulations and compliance demands? So is that something that's part of this portfolio?
Yeah.
Or do you plan for?
So I'll start and then maybe you can add in. It's a great question. So we talked about AI before and maybe the lack of consistent regulation across the world. Sustainability is no different. I think we all understand, especially when it becomes the challenge that 80% of a company's carbon footprint is scope 3, which is outside their organisation. So it becomes really challenging. Again, we play a really active role working with regulators, with bodies, maintain the standards. We've done that through the Sustainability Data Exchange, through the Business Network, to help facilitate that. So we feel the responsibility to be able to help support that. But to answer your direct question, yes, for a Brazilian company that is trying to manage a green ledger here locally and manage their business, we're able to do so at scale. We've got more work to do in the carbon ledger to manage it from averages to actuals. So again, I'm not sure how well it translated on stage, but every company is measuring their carbon footprint, their greenhouse gas emissions by averages. They have the raw data of actuals for their business doesn't currently get managed by any company. SAP will be the first to be able to help. And if you think about it, I know exactly, my inventory, I know how much I have, what's the weight, what's the size, what's the fabrics, what's the raw materials, what's the financial cost. I know all of that. But I'm averaging, I'm assuming, or I don't have an understanding of what the carbon data is. That's crazy. So we see it as a way to be able to maintain and facilitate a standard at the same level we do financial standards. And so I think by doing that, we give the opportunities for the company to manage in their daily business process their greenhouse gas emissions, their carbon footprint, all of their sustainability needs, the same way they do their financial and other material flows. And it's a roadmap, it's a journey together with the regulators. I don't know whether you want to add.
Yeah, you mentioned local companies here. Solium, you know that one. Carbon negative, actually, regenerative agriculture, and they work with our products. They work with the SAP Sustainability Control Tower and SAP product footprint management. So exactly as Scott said, they make these investments, and this pays off because in the end consumers put a lot of pressure on companies to understand the carbon footprint, for example. And then, I don't know, have you learned already about the Latin America sustainability study in the
Yes.
Therefore, I think that gives very good insights that 70% of the companies in Brazil was the first country, right? They work on sustainability topics, but still 50-ish% say this is a massive challenge. Yeah. And as Scott said, we are perfectly positioned to support with that. We have offerings in the market right now and a strong partner ecosystem in this area in addition.
It's why I presented Basuni on stage today. Local factory in Brazil, local operation, helping consumers take their old air fryers, bring it into the factory, and I didn't mention this on stage. They have 98% recyclable of those air fryers. Not only themselves, but also with the local ecosystem here in Brazil. So it promotes, and it's all managed and tracked on the SAP Sustainability Control Tower.
Thank you. Very
We have time for one last one.
Yeah.
Luciano, yes.
Okay. Scott, I would like to go back to the beginning of the session when we talk about partners. So in Latin America, we see a huge difficulty to create new IT professionals. And new IT professionals. Yeah. And I think that may compromise the ability of those partners to adapt, to evolve towards the direction SAP is pushing. So what do you think about that, and what SAP can do to help those partners?
Prompt engineering. Prompt engineering.
So a couple of thoughts. First of all, the relationship between SAP and our partners, we've got a responsibility to support those local partners. In fact, I was meeting with the partner community yesterday and this very topic came up, and I asked them, hey, how does your business, you've got growth? And they said, growth is not a problem. We're growing, Brazilian market very good, SAP is expanding, it's all in the cloud, access to talent. And there's multiple things that we're doing. First of all, it's our content, our knowledge, our learning, our capability, and making it available through the university programs, through our university partnerships. We've got a very strong relationship, but we're doing more to be able to make the content easier to use, easier to understand, and then give a journey. And then the same content being available for partners with an expanded next level detail. And in simple terms, the same knowledge learning tools that we use internally, we're making available to our partners. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible for them to be able to learn that content. Secondly is acknowledging that in the cloud, our constant innovation means that innovation needs to be available to our partners. So much more proactive programs to be able to support updates, roadmaps, things that are coming. Juergen never stops. Keeps on building things. And so building those roadmaps with the partners. And then last but not least is making sure it's financially viable. Every one of these partners are an independent business, especially the local partners. And so understanding, are we creating a model where not only they can invest and learn and attract IT talent, but also it's a business model that allows them to grow and expand profitably and in a way that justifies those investments. And so a lot of our effort is around supporting that in a sustainable way, because we want the partners not to do 1, 2, 3 projects a year. We want to help them do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 projects a year. Grow with SAP requires this. So it's a partnership, absolutely.
Yeah, and if you have 5 minutes, look at learning.sap.com, for example, and you can help. I mean, you have huge reach. If we take all your reach together, look at it. Maybe it is worth mentioning that in your articles as well, because what we did together was a couple of years back, there would be like a paywall. So you would need to pay in order to get access. We tore that paywall down and made everything available for free. So on learning.sap.com, and you can get access to all of these courses, different SAP solutions, technologies, everything. And we have programs here locally as well. The Learning for Employment program, for example, Christina, you want to add a few words?
Yeah, we just launched the Future Talent Program. It is specific for partners to connect with all the key offers that we have, Score, BTP, data, so they're really connected with partners, but also with some government initiatives and also customers. So in fact, the whole ecosystem is coming together, and we are super focused and we are reviewing. Yeah, we need to accelerate, and we have a dedicated program in the region for that. Yeah. But thank you for asking, very important.
Yeah, just one additional comment. We made an announcement a few months ago about our commitment to train and enable over 2 million people globally by 2025. So I guess the short answer is we see ourselves as highly responsible to helping educate and support the growth in local community right here in Brazil, to be able to have the skills, the knowledge, the IT expertise to be a part of the SAP ecosystem today and into the future.
Okay, I think, thank you. Thank you. Both of you.